Visit americasbestracing.net today. Thanks for joining us as it's Breeders' Crown time. Acacia Clement, pleased to be joined alongside Anthony Stabile, and we're talking about some really exciting 2-year-old horses in harness racing tonight and some of the big stars tomorrow night.
Yes, looking forward to tonight where, much like the Breeders' Cup, we have some future stars on this Friday evening up at Woodbine Mohawk Park. And then, of course, tomorrow, the fantastic trotting mare Atlanta. And Acacia, I never thought anyone would replace Panifesto as my favorite harness horse of all time, but he has been usurped by the one and only Bulldog Hanover, who we get to see tomorrow night, the final race of the 12-race Breeders' Crown Extravaganza.
Looking forward to it. Happy to be covering the races alongside you as we take a look at a feature today, the 2-year-old open pace. That's race 9 today for the Breeders' Crown. Taking a look at the field of 10 here, Anthony, and you do have a Confederate who is 7-5 on the morning line, is 5 for 6 already, and as you and I were discussing before coming on here, for the 2-year-old harness racing horses, they're going to be running a lot more frequently than if you're a little bit more familiar with our thoroughbreds at a young age and the races that they will pair back to back to back.
That's the biggest difference. The biggest similarity is the good ones have consistency.
Yep.
And Confederate is a model of consistency. 5 for 6 with a 3rd place finish so far in his career. The elimination last week made pretty easy work of things. Went a much faster elim than Handle Like a Porsche. In fact, Acacia, a minute and 2/5 faster. That's about 6 to 8 lengths. That's a long way for elimination winners to be separated by time.
Handle Like a Porsche, meanwhile, will break to the inside of Confederate, is 4 for 7 lifetime, winning last time out as well. And it would be interesting to see how the pace does play out as far as Confederate is concerned, and did see that Tim Tetrick had said that he's actually better following versus being on the lead, while Handle Like a Porsche has plenty of speed to offer too.
Yeah, they've both won on the chooch. They've both won from off the pace, which is important. I want to see what Dexter Dunn does with Handle Like a Porsche, how he leaves out of there with the second choice and the slower elimination winner. You know, Confederate has plenty of gas early on. We'll see what Timmy Tetrick does. I would imagine, though, with them saying he'd rather follow, maybe he lets Handle Like a Porsche leave from his inside draw and follows him around there. It'll be interesting to see. You know, you never know occasionally what happens with the outside draws as well. Stockade Sealster in particular, the number 7, has plenty of early speed. And maybe on the 7/8 oval, so that means the gate starts, the horses leave the gate from the 7/8, from the 8th pole. And then they'll go once around once they pass the wire. He'll have a little bit more time to clear if he chooses to do so. And with the 2 favorites having won from off the pace, I would not be surprised if that's how this shakes out later on tonight.
We look forward to seeing how it does shake out. That'll be in the 9th race today, but all about the 2-year-olds today as we take a look at what's on tap. Today's race is presented by Claiborne Farm, dealing with the fast main track at Woodbine Mohawk Park. We have races 6 through 9 as far as that Breeders' Crown card is concerned. We also have some races for you from Charlestown, races 6 through 8 tonight at a fast main track, as well as we have boots on the ground tonight at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Jessica Otten here with us. Jessica, so happy to have you continuing on with this coverage for the Breeders' Crown this weekend, and some really important races given those divisional honors that we'll be seeing as we come towards the end of the year.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be involved with this night and, of course, this huge weekend of racing. It is a dry but chilly night here in Campbellville, Ontario. Like you had mentioned, night 1 does feature the 2-year-old races, and you had mentioned a lot of divisional honors are on the line, and it's just a great weekend of racing overall. Of course, over $6.7 million in purses, and the anticipation of Bulldog Hanover returning to his home turf tomorrow night to take on Allywag Hanover, who defeated him last time out at the Red Mile. I'm so excited for a weekend of racing, and I'm so excited that you guys are here to join me as well.
And we're so happy to have you, Jessica. Thank you so much. We're hearing a lot from Jessica throughout the evening as we cover tonight's program. Of course, continue looking ahead to the Stars tomorrow. And it is for those who typically will be watching our show for the Thoroughbreds. It is very similar to a Breeders' Cup type weekend where you have the 2-year-olds on Friday, you have the biggest names in the game in those Saturday races. And as Jessica mentioned, with those divisional honors on the line, just how important is this weekend for the connections that point to these races?
Yeah, I mean, this is what you point for. And now, harness racing, much like thoroughbred racing, there are stakes races scattered throughout the country, throughout the year. But this is the night that you want to get to. A lot of divisions and championships are decided over the course of the next 2 evenings. It bounces around like the Breeders' Cup as well. Last year we covered everything, afternoon cards from the Meadowlands, and this year up at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and it should be a fun couple of nights. I'm really pumped for the Bulldog tomorrow night. I am really. Andy Sterling asked me today if he's running tomorrow night, and I, was getting ready to do the prep work, and I said, it's the Breeders' Crown, and Allywag versus the Bulldog tomorrow night. I'll be. I don't get too excited as a fan anymore when horses run. Songbird was really the last one that got me going like that, but I'll be biting my nails tomorrow night before they leave for the final.
He's made a fan of me as well as Bulldog Hanover, the world record holder. We'll look forward to seeing him tomorrow. Our program tonight, though, will kick off with the 2-year-old Colt Trot. Race number 6 from Woodbine Mohawk Park is where we will start. 3 to 5 on Celebrity Bambino. We'll talk a little bit more about this, that runner and the rest of this field. Kicking the things off with the 2-year-old to take a quick timeout on America's Day at the Races. Come back with us as we're about to kick off the action on our program for the Breeders' Crown.
The Central Ontario Standardbred Association is working with you to ensure a vibrant horse racing community. Shared stories call for a united voice. That's COSA, representing the interests of horse people racing at Ontario racetracks. So whether you're first, last, or somewhere in between, we've got your back. With insurance, benefits, free lifetime memberships, and more. COSA. Follow our stories on social and check out the process at cosaonline.com.
Old Ruler along the inside in second position.
Here they come, spinning out of the turn. 6th period now by 5 lengths.
Few horses have stood in esteemed stall number 1 at Claiborne Farm, and all of them champions, legends of the sport.
And down the stretch they come. Unbridled takes command.
Who influenced the generations that followed. Today, stall number 1 belongs to Run Happy, who is looking to create champions in the generations to come.
Old Ruler, Secretariat, Easy Goer, Unbridled, and then Run Happy. Each of those horses were North American champions at one point. in their careers.
All in line, and they're off.
Secretariat by 7. Secretariat 8 lengths.
Penday just hand-guided onto the wire. He takes this in power by 2.5 lengths.
You got to be basically be a champion to live in that stall, and certainly Run Happy was.
Run Happy's got him! Run Happy has won the sprint!
Whoever's after Run Happy will have to make sure he is a champion as well. Hopefully Run Happy will be able to keep his name on the door and add to the list of great horses that live in that stall.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well, of seeing some of that fall foliage. It's that time of year.
Went there in November of 2018, right after the Breeders' Cup at Churchill Downs. If you are a horse racing fan, that is heaven.
Yes.
You have to get to Claiborne Farm.
Especially if you're going to be in town for the Breeders' Cup, go schedule a tour and have an opportunity to take a little bit of a look at some of great horse racing history. We're going to make some history tonight with the 2-year-olds on the Breeders' Crown coverage. We're kicking things off with the 2-year-old Colt Trot. We'll meet the field. Anthony, starting with the 1 Gaines Hanover.
Yeah, got the job done in the slower Breeders' Crown limb last week from the 5 draw. A little chilly on the board right now at 5-1.
Here's the 2, the Gruffalo.
Yeah, threw some steps in 2 weeks back at Freehold, shipped up after a week off, and regained his form, finishing second to Gaines Hanover in aforementioned elimination.
Big price. Here's the 3, Kierkegaard K.
He should be. He was third behind Celebrity Bambino, who we'll get to in a minute. Last time out at 18-1. He hasn't really gotten the job done this year, winning just once from 8 tries.
Speaking of Celebrity Bambino, here he is looking for 3 in a row.
He was the second choice on the morning line, even though he was the faster of the limb winners. The public, I think, has this right with making him the 4-5 favorite.
Here is the number 5, Kilmister.
He was 9-5 in a stakes race down at the Red Mile almost a month back. Didn't do much running that night, and we'll see what he does tonight.
Big price on Spitfire Overseas.
Yeah, added Lasix 2 starts back to get the job done. Did not do much racing from the 2 draw last week in the Elim. Has the 6 draw tonight.
Here's Osceola.
Another one who broke stride 2 weeks back. Left from the rail last week at a big price and was third behind Gaines Hanover.
Winner's Bet is next.
Was the favorite in the Gaines Hanover Elim last week. Did not do much racing as the 8-5 favorite. Now has a tough draw from the 8 hole.
3-1 on Oh Well, something a lot of handicappers have probably said.
And again, he was the 2-5 favorite in the Celebrity Bambino draw. I like betting horses back off of Elim losses at better prices than the winner.
And we saw Dire Straits go by. There he is at a big price.
Yeah, he couldn't get my money for nothing in here.
That's the field for our first race on the program.
That went right over your head, didn't it?
What? Oh, money for nothing.
Come on, Acacia.
Sorry, I
Let's
was so focused on what was coming up next.
All right, that's strike 1. Next.
That's it. He's done with me. Our Breeders' Crown coverage is presented by Central Ontario Standardbred Association. And we're happy to have you tuning in with us this evening, getting ready for the 6th race, the 2-year-old Colt Trot, 4-5 on Celebrity Bambino right now on the board. And as you mentioned, Anthony, you felt like the public had gotten this one right?
Look. In harness racing, I'm a very big believer that time means more in harness racing than in thoroughbred racing. Mm-hmm. Raw time, at the very least, especially when horses are racing on the same night. It's a minute and 2/5 faster than the other elimination winner. Now, neither of them were favored. Gaines Hanover was 5-2. Celebrity Bambino, more surprising, as a 7.5-1 shot. And again, winning by as big a margin as he did in as quick a time as he did. I mean, that's some serious racehorse time for a 2-year-old trotter to shade 151. And now he gets another great, he was from the 9 hole last week, gets a great draw tonight. Absolutely, the public has gotten this right, because if you told me I had to take one of the elimination winners all night long, Celebrity Bambino over Gaines Hanover is where I'm going.
Here's Gaines Hanover and his last win. He did show some early foot as well. He'll be drawn from the rail. How important is the draw with these young horses?
It's important enough for him. You know, he'll have the shortest way around there. It gives his driver, Louis-Philippe Roy, a lot of options. He can leave out of there running, racing. Don't say running with harness horses. You know, but he's raced well from off the pace as well. So it gives him a lot of options from that rail draw.
Well, there's a look at a couple of the main players in this 2-year-old colt trot as we welcome back in Jessica Otten. Jess, looking forward to kicking off the action on our program with these 2-year-olds. What are your thoughts on the horses in this race?
I think it's a super competitive field for these 2-year-old Colton Gelding trotters. I've been listening to the interviews last week after the races and, of course, reading the articles all week long leading up to this race. Of course, you have those 2 elimination winners, Gaines Hanover, who will start from the inside of the gate. And, of course, remember, it is a slanted gate here, so the outside horses will start a little bit ahead of the other ones as the gate gets going in here. I like the 4, 5, and 9. Celebrity Bambino was your other elimination winner last week, winning in 153 and 2. He's been a little bit, you know, on and off this season, a little bit up and down, very consistent. 8 starts, 3 wins, 2 seconds, and 2/3. But you go back and you listen to the interviews with Ronnie and Yannick, and you read the articles, and the horse got sick, and it took him a while to get over that. They were aiming him towards the end of the year, where there's a lot of big money to be made. Of course, the Breeders' Crown tonight and the Valley Victory later up in the end of the month of November. So he draws a nice inside, you know, middle pack post 4 to work with. The 5, Killmister. Was scratched a couple of starts ago, come out and finish a okay 5th in Lexington last time out. This was a win and you are in. He won the Peter Houghton Memorial at the Meadowlands back on Hambletonian Day in August. So he won that race. He got a bye into the final. He's coming into the race off of a little bit of a time off, so that does concern me a little bit, but the horse was 5 for 5 on the year before making that one miscue in Kentucky, and Marcus Melander said that the gate was just going too slow, so he got a bit jammed up in here. My pick in the race is the 9, Oh Well, the Mohawk Million winner, 2 starts back right here at the Woodbine Mohawk Park Oval. They said last week, you know, he had all that time off from September 24th to October 21st before getting a start into him, and Marcus Melander was a little bit light on him in his training because he wanted to have fresh legs coming into this race. So yes, he does draw an outside post, but Tim Tetrick was confident in his colt, saying that, you know, he'd rather have the outside than the inside. So he's got fresh legs coming into this race. He finished up the mile well last week. He finished up the mile with plenty of trot. So I like Oh Well in here. Post 9, Tim Tetrick for Marcus Melander, of course, in the 2-year-old Colton Gelding Breeders' Crown final. Back to you, Acacia.
Jessica, thank you. 5-2 on Oh Well, the top pick for both Jessica and Anthony in this spot. And Anthony, your thoughts on Oh Well, top pick as well?
A lot of what Jessica said, I would just reiterate that. The most important thing is the time off. 28 days for harness horses.
That's a long time for a harness horse.
It's like 4 months, 6 months for a thoroughbred. You know, they train 4 miles a day, 5 miles a day, twice a day. They take a very heavy workload. You mentioned it at the beginning of the program. We're going to see these two, right? This race alone, 7, 11, 8, 8, 8. So they have a lot of starts under their belts already.
Well, there's no better time to join Naira Bets than right now. You can join today and get a $25 free bet. New members can also earn up to a $200 deposit bonus with promo code CUP25. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Join now at NairaBets.com for your free $25 bet plus a $200 deposit match. That'll have you all covered. You'll be just in time for next weekend's Breeders' Cup World Championships using that promo code CUP25. We've got some championships going on this weekend as well, though, with harness racing with the Breeders' Crown. And we do have an opportunity to see the 2-year-olds in the spotlight here, too. Anthony, you see horses running tomorrow that are 7 years old, that have put some great resumes together. These are still young horses. There's still a lot of room for improvement, much like we would see in the thoroughbred races.
Yeah, you know what kind of impressed me about this bunch? A lot of them haven't lost stride that often. And that's pretty impressive for horses that have made so many starts already. I'm looking forward to how we kick things off with this Breeders' Crown 2022.
2-year-old Colt Trot coming up. They're lining up. Here's track announcer Ken Middleton with the call.
Gingras in the media this week about this trotting son of Muscle Hill following that impressive win last weekend. 5-2 on the 9-horse Oh Well. For me, 9-1 on Kill Mister is absolutely amazing. Trotter comes in here with some red flags in recent weeks, but certainly capable. It is a great group. Enjoy it. It's the Breeders' Crown final. Lined up in behind the gate. Here they come. Gapped off 6, Spitfire Overseas. And they're off and off stride. Oh well, Teacher lost oh well as he bubbled over at the start and made a break. A good beginning in the center for Kill Mister. Firing up on the outside, Dire Straits. From the inside, there's the Gruffalo into third. Taken back and forth is Kierkegaard K. A floating fifth outside is Osceola. Sixth up in between is Celebrity Bambino. Further back into seventh goes Gaines Hanover. To his outside, from an eighth going to the quarter pole is Winner's Bet. Then to the inside, Spitfire Overseas. And trailing after the miscue is oh well. McNair just lost Osceola at the quarter pole, and it's up in 27-2. So now to the front goes Kill Mister as Sears sets sail for the lead with him. Dire Straits, that long shot, backs up to second. Third is the Gruffalo. Kierkegaard K is fourth inside. Gingras sitting fifth right now with Celebrity Bambino, tracked by Gaines Hanover sixth. He tips to the outside. He's waiting on Gingras to move. Further back in at the rail is Spitfire Overseas. Getting underway in the backfield now. Trots up Winner's Bet. Scooting up the rail is oh well, and they've gone a dawdling half of 57 seconds flat. The pedals get pressed now. Kill Mister's got the advantage going into the final turn. Celebrity Bambino's first over into attack mode. Gaines Hanover advancing steadily on cover. Buried at the rail fourth is Dire Straits. Off stride in a tough spot at the rail is the Gruffalo as he goes safety lane bound on the run. Further back outside there, steadied on the turn went Winner's Bet. They're up to 3/4 and it's Kill Mister dealing with a pesky Celebrity Bambino. Outside on cover, Gaines Hanover. Buried at the rail is Dire Straits. 3/4 up in 1:25-4, and Celebrity Bambino strikes the front. Kill Mister will have to find more. Gaines Hanover launched off cover now, and he comes on. It's Celebrity Bambino put to a deep stretch drive. Gaines Hanover gaining on the outside. Celebrity Bambino. Gaines Hanover's inching in, and it's Gaines Hanover on the outside. With a hometown score, Gaines Hanover wins the Breeders' Crown in 1:53-2 for Waugh and Moreau.
Gaines Hanover with the win, able to run down Celebrity Bambino late. Anthony, there was a lot going on in this race, and just like you said before, they're 2-year-olds, they often go off stride and things can happen.
Yeah, I gave this bunch a very nice compliment. They don't jump stride. 3 of them jump off stride, including my top pick. The public didn't get it right. The Morning Line Oddsmaker got it right. He had Gaines Hanover favorite over Celebrity Bambino. Oh well was the favorite overall. Perfect trip. A perfect trip for Gaines Hanover. Rode the cover of Celebrity Bambino, who was out an awfully long way. Acacia. Yanni Gingras did not have much choice. He had to come first over to a 57-second half. I mean, they were walking on the front end, and he parlayed the perfect cover trip into a Breeders' Crown triumph.
Bred in Montreal, as well as you heard in that call, a hometown win for Gaines Hanover, winning at Woodbine Mohawk Park with the victory in the 2-year-old Colt Trot. We'll take a quick time out here on America's Day at the races. There's a lot more to come, including a preview of everything for Breeders' Crown Saturday. The world record holder, Ontario-bred Bulldog Hanover, still waiting in the wings.
Some of the top horses in the sport are born and raised in Pennsylvania.
It's really the world capital of standardbred breeding. Breeders from other states locate in Pennsylvania.
It's not a hard sell. I mean, we have a whole mess of clients that send us horses to take advantage of the program. The racing opportunities have been, continue to be, and into the future are very strong here. This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here in Pennsylvania. It's perfect.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
The gates fly. From the beautiful Niagara Escarpment in Campbellville, Ontario, Woodbine Mohawk Park. Home to the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic. The Mohawk Million on Canada's richest night of racing. And returning this fall, the Breeders' Crown Championships.
A wild finish wins the Breeders' Crown.
Woodbine Mohawk Park. Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. You gotta play here.
You're watching America's Day at the Races special coverage this evening from Woodbine Mohawk Park. It's Breeders' Crown weekend. The lights are bright, just like the stars. Do you like that one?
I like that, yes.
2-year-olds, the future, the excitement tonight, and Gaines Hanover with the win in the 2-year-old Colt Trot to kick off the live action on our program.
How about those Outrider jackets?
I know,
They'll
those
be
are nice.
dazzled tonight.
Yeah.
I got to get one of those.
Look at that. Nice.
I need to get one of those.
That's really cool.
Yes.
You can definitely see they're like walking disco balls.
I would love that.
I like that.
I think the A Train needs those.
I would wear
Matching
that
jackets.
on a daily
that would be
basis.
sensational if we
Listen,
walked around
I
here
did
wearing those
pageants.
things.
The
Wow.
more sparkle, the better
We'd
for
be
me.
strong. Yeah, we'd be real strong wearing those.
Yes, I agree. We should get our director Mitch Levitis one too.
Right away, you have to just take the air out of the touch strike too.
Oh, come on.
Dire Straits and Mitch. No good.
I still like the Outrider jackets and would like to have one. Gaines Hanover, $9.60 winner. Went off at 7-2, able to run down the horse that went off at 7-5 in Celebrity Bambino.
Those are not the graphics mistakes, folks. There are 20-cent wagers north of the border at Woodbine Mohawk Park, and that's also not a mistake. The 2 elimination winners ran 1-2, and the executive paid $32.10 from, from nice draws from the 1 and the 4. That exactly paid $32.10. What a giant number.
Hope you had it. A $9.60 winner with Gaines Hanover to kick off the 2-year-old action. Well, as mentioned before the break, we're going to see a very special horse running tomorrow, Bulldog Hanover. He was a world record time back on July 16th at the Meadowlands, and he's put together an incredible resume. And with the excitement that he's created from the fans and from the crowd as well, you can't help but draw comparisons to a thoroughbred who's also been brilliant on the racetrack and has got people talking.
Flightline and Bulldog Hanover have captured the hearts and minds of people all over the globe and may just be 2 of the greatest individuals thoroughbred and standardbred racing have ever witnessed.
The following, the social media presence, the tweets going out like, hey, Flightline's going to work on Saturday and he's going to go at this time, and it just spreading like wildfire. And you really start to see it first on the West Coast, but even now nationwide, the greatest naysayers are in awe of Flightline.
It's been really amazing to watch this. The last few weeks especially, going to Indiana, the fans were coming out. Had a huge crowd there for that race. Going to Ohio, it was tremendous. I mean, the fans, it was just a steady stream of fans coming to see him in the paddock. Here in Lexington, it's been unbelievable. He's really the people's horse right now.
Flightline generated buzz when he was purchased for $1 million as a yearling. The son of Tapit demonstrated he was worth every penny when he debuted for trainer John Sadler.
A potential star here, Flightline, wins by double digits while wrapped up.
Flightline continued to soar in his next 4 starts. His final time in the Grade 1 Malibu Stakes was assigned the best speed figure in North America for 2021.
Flightline, a superstar, is dominating the run-happy Malibu, and he's going to turn this into his easiest win yet.
It was time for Flightline to log some miles. This resulted in another facile score in the Met Mile over Speaker's Corner and Breeders' Cup Sprint champion Aloha West.
On Belmont Stakes Day, we're New Yorkers to have it at our home track. He didn't break well. He had some traffic problems early in the race. It was a race that really showed he could overcome adversity. Everything was going against him, and he still beat Grade 1 horses by open lengths.
But his most recent engagement in the Pacific Classic was one of the most scintillating performances in decades.
And let's see, Flavien Prat just shakes the reins at Flightline. And take a good look at this, because you're not going to see this too often, maybe never again. Flightline, 20 lengths clear.
Flightline stopped the clock just shy of a track record. His speed figure is the second highest recorded of any thoroughbred on dirt since 1992. Then there is Bulldog Hanover. Like Flightline, his 2022 campaign has been nothing short of brilliant. He is the swiftest standardbred to ever set a hoof on a racetrack and the only horse to ever stop the clock below 1 minute and 46 seconds.
Bulldog Hanover, Rocky Road Hanover, and then Tattoo Artist. It's Bulldog Hanover, 1:45 and 4. There it is, the fastest mile in harness racing history. It doesn't get any better than that. Wow!
When I crossed the line and the tele timer popped up 45 and 4, I almost did a double take. I was sort of double cheeked it. I was like, did that happen?
It took a world record equaling mile by Allywag Hanover to snap Bulldog Hanover's win streak. But his reputation was not tarnished in defeat.
It's an emotional thing for me. I've just been in it so long, had some great horses, but to get a horse like this at this stage in my career, it's great.
All eyes will be on Bulldog Hanover's bid for a Breeders' Crown. He has, however, already proved he is the horse of a lifetime, as has Flightline.
Love getting to see two truly great horses side by side and some spectacular things that they've done, much like Flightline looking for that Breeders' Cup Classic. Next week, we see Bulldog Hanover looking for the Breeders' Crown tomorrow night, and Bulldog Hanover, that time, that world record that he set. How dazzling is that?
It was amazing. I remember doing the program, and I remember Jessica telling us how the track was playing so quickly, and we had seen him pace a couple of weeks and tie the world record. And I said, the way this track's playing tonight, I think this thing's going to go down. And sure enough, you heard Ken Walkington on the call. What an amazing night. It's a lot of fun that the standardbreds have such a dominant force like Bulldog Hanover, and we have such a dominant force like Flightline. Same division, same year. It does not happen often.
We look forward to seeing him in the spotlight tomorrow. Meanwhile, we take a look at the field. Bulldog Hanover will go from post position number 6. He's 4-5 on the morning line. No surprise there. And you can get all the coverage for the Breeders' Crown Open Pace Final and all of the Breeders' Crown races tomorrow night. We hope that you'll join us tomorrow as well. Of course, we have the 2-year-olds in the spotlight tonight. Tomorrow on Saturday, we'll be on FS2 from 7:30 to 11 p.m. It'll be me and Anthony with Jessica Otten as well. So we hope you'll tune in with us. Turning the page, heading over to Charlestown, we have race 6. It's a 2-year-old maiden special weight for the fillies, going 4.5 furlongs on the main track. Here's a look at the field, Anthony. And right now, the number 9, Araya, to the outside, is 3-5. She is 0 for 6, but she has speed and was second last out.
Gets Lasix for the first time, gets the Charlestown for the first time, 4.5 furlongs out of the chute. Should be right up her alley. I'll tell you what, though, Viola Fuggins from the rail, 7-2. She was fast out of the gate last time in the slop down at
5 lengths clear.
She was fast.
Yeah, she
and
was.
We'll see how much pressure Araya takes from her. I thought the 5 Cosmic Rewind going to a barn that wins it with over a third of their starters from a debut at Churchill Downs. See how this horse does, the number 5 Cosmic Reward, and her Charlestown debut.
Cosmic Reward ran in a restricted maiden special weight at Churchill Downs. It was a big price that day and didn't do too much running. See if she can improve against this caliber of competition. 3-5 on the outside runner. Race 6 at Charlestown for the 2-year-olds. We go to track announcer Paul Espinosa Jr. with the call.
Your 3rd, Spitfire Overseas 7th, Osceola 10th. Winner's bet was 8th, Owell 6th, Dire Straits 4th.
Looks like Chiron Barbosa has hopped off of Araya. He'll now reunite with her in the gate. Now hammered down in the wagering to 1-5. Araya, daughter of good magic. She's in. Barbosa's aboard. Now she's acting up just a touch. Ready for a start. And they're off. Super Wicked and Araya had the best beginnings. The Olafuggins from the rail now rushes up to challenge and take the lead as they link up with the main track. Dream of Gold comes away in fourth. They're followed by Storm and Anna, who comes along and now takes that fourth position. She's a Brick House, advances outside, and Cosmic Rewind is last at the rail as they race for the far turn. The Olafuggins has opened up a 3-length lead on Araya through a 22-2 first quarter. The Olafuggins pushes that lead up to 4 lengths. The Olafuggins rolls around the far turn, Araya giving chase in second. And then comes Storm and Anna looping up on the outside third, but still 5 lengths away from the Olafuggins. They're followed by Super Wicked and She's a Brick House, 1 furlong to go. The Olafuggins off the turn in front by 5. The Olafuggins from Storm and Anna. Araya's back to third. Then Super Wicked and She's a Brick House, but it's all the Olafuggins. The Olafuggins gate to wire. Scores by 4.5 in the end from Storm and Anna. Araya held third. Close for fourth between She's a Brick House and Super Wicked. Final time 54-1.
Number 1, the Olafuggins. She blasted off and showed that early speed once again, but today, Anthony, she was able to sustain it under Dennis Arroyo.
An eighth of a mile shorter, about a 3-hour drive from Laurel to Charlestown. Did the trick tonight,
Yep.
Little A. As, Dennis Arroyo just put this filly on a front end, and it was flag fall to that's all. This was never, ever in doubt.
You could see early that the number 9, Araya, your favorite, just wasn't traveling as smoothly. She didn't seem to be responding to her jockey. It was actually a first-time starter, Storm and Anna, who got up for second, but a wire-to-wire winner with these 2-year-old fillies.
I didn't get 1-5 on Araya, but I don't want to red border too much.
The Olafuggins. I wonder what the story behind that name is.
I do not know.
The Olafuggins with the win in the 6th at Charlestown, back over at Woodbine Mohawk Park. It was the 2-year-old colt Trot, went to number 1, Gaines Hanover. Let's go to Jessica Otten with a special guest.
Standing by with winning driver Louis-Philippe Waugh after winning the 2-year-old Breeders' Crown final for those 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Trotters. Your first Breeders' Crown, pretty sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very sweet. A really good moment.
Talk about this colt. You've sat behind him for his, his career. Talk about his development over the last, 5-6 starts, because on the program he looks pretty handy, and tonight he definitely proved that leaving out of the rail.
Yeah, definitely. He's a sweetheart. There's a bunch of young trotters that can be a little hot or whatever. He's kind of the opposite. He just waits on you to ask him whatever you want him to do, and he responds to. He doesn't make you work too much for him to work, So that was a really good asset coming into the race.
Talking about the trip tonight, you had to be licking your chops going off the backside when Yannick pulled. He wasn't able to get the cover. You were able to, push him out and get him to be second over in that slow second quarter. How are you feeling coming down the lane?
Pretty good. I knew that even Yannick, if he had to make all the work first up, he didn't really use his horse. He was kind of sitting on him and waiting. So when we hit the stretch, he sprinted a little bit, a few steps out of the turn, and my horse I just had to keep on him, kind of, just to follow him. And then I would say middle of the stretch, mine just kept going, and Yannick's got just a little tired there. And that was, I could say middle of the stretch, that's where I knew I was going to get the win.
Congratulations. Go enjoy it.
Thank you.
Jessica, thank you. Always nice to hear a little bit about the personality of the horses, too. I like what he said. He's a very sweet horse. Doesn't get hot like some of these young ones can.
Very humble interview
Yes,
as well.
very.
He gave the horse a fantastic drive tonight, just picking up the cover of the favorite. And, it's tough to time that move because when you're sitting behind a horse that's 6-5, 7-5, you assume they're going to keep going. You don't want to get stuck behind one that starts going the wrong way, and he gave the horse a flawless drive.
Gaines Hanover, the winner of the 2-year-old Colt Trot, in a nice effort. Our next one on the program will be the 2-year-old filly Pace. We'll take a quick timeout on America's Day at the Races. We'll come back with more live action with the Breeders' Crown after this.
The world world's greatest harness racing returns to Meadowlands Racing and Entertainment on Friday, November 4th. Live racing kicks off at 6:20 p.m. on Friday and Saturday night. Admission and parking are free. We have a full calendar of events and great dining, so visit playmeadowlands.com for all the info. The track is also open for simulcasting 7 days a week. Plus, check out our FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can legally watch and wager on all sports action. Visit playmeadowlands.com for details. Must be 21 or older to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Run Happy, the champion sprinter who raced medication-free and now stands at Claiborne Farm on a pumpkin, too.
Spooky. It's a spooky
I like
time
it.
of year.
Spooky season. Woodbine Mohawk Park race 7 coming up next. 2-year-old Philly Pace will meet the field, starting with one who's in terrific form, Charleston.
Yeah, she missed a month between starts and got the job done, winning her Elim last week at 3-5.
She's 5-2, 2-1 right now on the board, looking to make it 3 wins in a row. She will leave from the inside as the number 2. She's coming up shortly at 6-1. It will be Strong Poison. It does seem like there are kind of the 2 big ones in this field between Charleston and Sylvia Hanover. They're Strong Poison 6-1.
I didn't know there was any other kind. She was on the front end from the 8 draw last week, just missed by a neck. She was off a week as well. I think she might race a little bit better tonight.
Back-to-back second-place finishes. She's coming off after a win back in September at Lexington. She is 6-1 on the board. Here's the 3 horizontal big price.
Yeah, Sylvain Filion was aboard as he usually is. She just missed last week by a length. Actually led them into the stretch and got cut down late in her Elim. We'll see how she does tonight. A lot of the 3 inside horses all getting better draws this evening.
Here's the 4 mixed Seaside. She'll rematch with Sylvia Hanover.
Yep. Had a big trip last week. Made the lead. Had a fight for her life through the lane and still paced on really well to get beat just a length. I wouldn't be surprised if she came up with a big effort tonight.
And there she is, 7-8 lifetime Sylvia Hanover.
The problem is with all of these horses drawn to her inside, their better efforts might not be as good as Sylvia Hanover's best effort. She's going to be ultra tough to beat.
Here's the 6, Light and Tight.
Yeah, Light and Tight has not hit the exactor in her last 3 starts. She paced against a bit easier earlier in her career.
She's 29-1. Next will be the number 7 at 41-1. Proud Mary.
Keeps on churning.
I got that one.
Thanks. She hasn't hit the board in her last 2. It's going to be tough for her to work out any kind of real trip tonight against these fillies.
Next will be the number 8, Sweet Amira.
If local trainer Amira Shashakli is watching, maybe she's going to bet a few bucks on this one as a hunch play. We'll see if Louis-Philippe Roy could win the first 2 Breeders' Crown events of the evening.
Looking for another one after a terrific drive in the last run. As next will be the number 9, Bellissima Hanover.
If you want to use a long shot in your exotics, local filly might be the one. She drew post 7 last week, post 8 this week. She managed to get a 3rd place behind Charleston in the faster Elim. She's a gigantic price at 36 to 1. If you're playing trifectas or superfectas, she'd be the price I'd want to use.
I like it. I like that. Good at hitting the board. Maybe a good way to make some value if you like the 4 to 5 favorite. And to wrap up the post parade, here's the 10 Zanata.
Tough draw. She's not Zenyatta. It's going to be a tough, tough road to hoe from post 10 for her.
Big price on the outside. Meanwhile, the number 1, Charleston, in terrific form, trained by Brett Pelling, who's standing by with Jessica.
Thank you. Yes, standing by with trainer Brett Pelling. Let's talk about your filly, Charleston. She starts from the rail tonight. Let's go back to last week. What were your impressions on her elimination?
Oh, I thought she raced great. I mean, she slid out of there and then, come with 3/8 to go, but she came with authority and she got up alongside a horse who'd been racing very, very good and handled her. So, she's a gorgeous filly. She's slick. She's great manners. She's just an absolute sweetheart of a girl.
And how do you feel coming into the race tonight? I know the rail can be a bit tricky with the slanted gate, but she's in super form right now.
Yeah, and she's slick, and she's quick. She's real push button. So, Dexter may not get away exactly where he would have wanted if he drew in the middle, but, she'll be close enough. And I've always felt she's better off her helmet, but if he has to come on the outside, I mean, her speed is natural. So I think at some point he'll get involved.
Let's talk about your 2-year-old colt pacer, Combustion. 4th in his elimination, 26-4 at the end of it. He's getting post relief. What did you think about his elimination?
I thought he was absolutely awesome last week. He was one of the few 2-year-olds who actually closed from the back. He put 2 26-second quarters together and was still going forward at the wire. He's a very, very strong horse, and he seems to benefit from his races. I'm really, quite excited to see what he's going to do tonight.
And post relief coming from the outside back into the inside. It's a cold night tonight. How do you feel coming into the race?
Yeah, but, he's a cold. He'll handle it fine. And, he's probably not the quickest off the wings, but, in that post position, hopefully he can clear a couple and just be involved. And, rather than being 13 off of the half, he can be 6 or 7 off of the half. I think it'll be a factor.
Thank you so much and best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Back to you guys at the desk.
Jessica, thank you. Trainer Brett Pelling sending out Charleston. Could be a busy night for him as well as his 2-year-olds. And Anthony, you were telling me some of the contributions to the sport that Brett Pelling has made over the years. Of course, a very well-known and well-accomplished trainer in harness racing. But beyond that, I think the contributions are really, really interesting.
I was absolutely man-crushing on Brett Pelling.
You were, yeah.
He's an absolute genius. Yeah. Training methods, equipment, you name it, he has put his thumbprint over the standardbred game for decades. The guy is he is one of the most brilliant horsemen or horsewomen you've ever come across. He's done so much for the sport.
He has a 2-year-old filly that will leave from the inside, Charleston, who's in such good form right now. She's 6 for 8 in her career. She's looking to make it 3 in a row. Was beaten by Sylvia Hanover back in September. What do you think about her breaking inside Sylvia Hanover?
Yeah, she's going to leave inside of her tonight. Look, they're all kind of at Sylvia Hanover's mercy, right? Having Charleston having the rail, Strong Poison being in the 2-post, I would imagine Sylvia Hanover is going to be on the front end sooner rather than later in this heat. And if I was Bob McClure, I would just put her on the Bill Daly tonight. I wouldn't mess around. She's faster than these horses early. I would just get around the inside draws. She has most of the horses to her inside to beat. Well, they have her to beat. I would just go around them.
A nice matchup between some talented fillies and one looking to make it 8 in a row. Let's go to track announcer Ken Middleton for the 2-year-old filly pace.
We've got the pacing fillies of this year's freshman class in behind the gate as they get set for their Breeders' Crown Championship. It's post time. Field of 10 lined up, set to go. They're often pacing in a big start outside. Bellissima Hanover charging out of there. Leaving out with her is Sweet Tamira. Down the center, forwardly placed is Sylvia Hanover. Then from the rail is Charleston, fourth away. Strong Poison retreats to fifth. There's Horizontal, sixth inside. Taken back into seventh, now goes McSee side. Through at the inside, light and tight. Proud Mary next to last. And the early trailer is Zanata. As they make their way to the quarter marker, they'll chase long shot leader Bellissima Hanover. On top in 27-3, and the leader to the backstretch will be Bellissima Hanover, though McClure is already on the move out of third. Here comes Sylvia Hanover. She gets marching orders in the backstretch. So a quarter pole attack now. As rushing up to take the lead goes Sylvia Hanover at 3/8. Back into second goes Bellissima Hanover. Right there with them from in third is Sweet Tamira. Charleston from in fourth now. Fifth outside tips Strong Poison trying to force the hand of Dunn, and Dunn goes first up now. Charleston, like a shot, is coming after Sylvia Hanover as McClure works her over to a 57-second half, and on the outside Charleston sweeps on by. Charleston tried to get by in tight quarters at the rail. Sylvia Hanover now outside third comes Strong Poison second, and she sweeps up to take the lead. Overland from in fourth now. Horizontal moving up on cover McSee side to fifth. Then it's back to quarter pole leader Bellissima Hanover sixth inside. Gapped on her cover outside light and tight. Through in at the rail is Sweet Amir. Got the shuffle on the turn. Zanata gets underway trailing Proud Mary. 3/4 in 1:23-4. A wild finish coming up on that lead. Still Charleston trying to get past her on the outside. Strong Poison. Sylvia Hanover, just as she did last week, escapes to the outside now, and she brushes up alongside. And now by for the lead in deep stretch. It is Sylvia Hanover fighting on at the rail as Charleston. Strong Poison in between is third. Sylvia Hanover into the final 16th, and it's Sylvia Hanover's crown. Sylvia Hanover wins again in 151 and 1/7 straight for Sylvia Hanover.
A super impressive performance in the 2-year-old filly pace from Sylvia Hanover. A lot going on here, Anthony, as we saw her driver, Bob McClure, try to take the lead. He ended up losing it, and she still was able to get out and win late.
You know, you see the drivers in this race, and you hear the name Dexter Dunn, one of the leading drivers at the Meadowlands. You see Yannick Gingras, Hall of Famer, right? Timmy Tetrick, Hall of Famer. David. A lot of people don't know who Bob McClure is. I'll tell you what. Not as familiar with him as I would have been 20 years ago. That was some crafty drive there. I mean, he blasted around those two long shots like he's supposed to. He had a little bit of a tussle with Bellissima Hanover. He probably thought he was going to put the pedal to the metal and just brush first over right by. It didn't happen. Charleston and Dexter Dunn tried to take advantage of it and just slingshot it around them. And I thought that that was going to be a winning move. Yannick waited with Strong Poison. He took his shot at Charleston. It was such a fun race. In the meantime, Sylvia Hanover's laying in the 3-hole, pulls, and manages to run by again. What an effort. Real big effort tonight.
Now makes it 8 in a row. Sylvia Hanover, fun to watch. A big performance in the 2-year-old filly pace, able to run down Charleston, who made that big move as well. Bring you prices, reactions, and more, including a little bit of a conversation about one of the greats to do it, Atlanta, making her bow tomorrow night.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program was created in 2018 by Wanda Policini. Purple Haze provides training to transition into new careers and finding homes. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before going on. Horses at Purple Haze are evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, please contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program.
Established in 1982, Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital is a worldwide leader in equine healthcare, providing a full menu of specialties of services and treatment for all breeds and disciplines of horses, from the family companion to the high-performance athlete. Learn more today about Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital. Visit roodandriddle.com or call 888-773-4838.
And they're off, competing for over $4 million in purses this season. Join us to witness the best the sport of harness racing has to offer and celebrate Harris Hoosier Park's championship season alongside family fun entertainment, handicapping contest, giveaways, and more. Be sure to catch all of the action now through December 10th, and don't forget to download your free live racing program on the Harris Hoosier Park website every night. First post is 6:15 p.m. Visit harrishoosierpark.com for full details.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Get started at nairabets.com today. The crowd in the winner's circle as Sylvia Hanover makes it 8 in a row, a special 2-year-old filly.
West Point owns the source? Wow. Yeah, really big effort tonight.
A short price, and she lived up to it, able to run down Charleston, who she put forth a very big effort tonight, too.
She passed Sylvia Hanover at one point. Sylvia Hanover came back to get her. A little different from the prior race where the two elimination winners run 1-2. This is going to have to pay $7, Acacia.
That makes sense. That makes a little bit more sense. Some 2-year-old fillies who are very, very, very talented. Tomorrow we're going to see some big stars, including one of just 15 fillies to have won the Hambletonian against males. And this weekend, Atlanta will look to add something that seems to be all that's missing from a truly illustrious resume, and that is a win in the Breeders' Crown.
She didn't set the world on fire during her freshman campaign, but Atlanta served notice her star was on the rise with a 4th place finish in the 2017 Breeders' Crown Final at Hoosier Park at nearly 63-1. This event also established a budding rivalry with race winner Manchego, which would span 4 seasons and culminate with the 2 mares sharing the world record of 149-1 to be the swiftest female trotters in history. Atlanta, however, etched her name in the record books as a sophomore when she became the first filly in 22 years to capture the $1 million Hambletonian Stakes over males. Only 15 fillies have accomplished this feat in 97 years.
She's just an amazing animal with a desire to win.
Yeah, all heart. I went to the Elite Lap and everybody was asking me about Atlanta and Sweden.
What she's done, I mean, every race is a bonus. She never disappoints, and it's going to be a big stall to fill.
The daughter of Chapter 7, Hemi Blue Chip, also triumphed in the prestigious Kentucky Filly Futurity that year, but was second to Lily Stride in the Breeders' Crown Final for her age, sex, and gait.
Atlanta is the Kentucky Filly Futurity champion.
Over the next 4 seasons, Atlanta and Manchego would wage war in harness racing's elite events, and each would reign victorious over males, including the 2020 Cutler Memorial.
Atlanta prevailing, Atlanta, Manchego, Atlanta takes the Cutler, Atlanta gains revenge.
A multiple Dan Patch and O'Brien Award winner, Atlanta has earned more than $3.4 million and has won 37 of her 76 starts. Her nearly 24 Grand Circuit victories include the All-Ridge Mare Trot and 2 editions of the Armbro Flight.
And Atlanta, second last year. This year she wins. It's Atlanta on the Maple Leaf Trot by 4.
The 4th richest female trotter of all time has beat the boys in the Maple Leaf Trot, All-Ridge Open Trot, Dayton Derby, the Graduate Series Final, and the Charlie Hill Memorial.
I think a quick turn of foot, is really what made her. I think she can put herself in the right spot when she needs to be, and doing it for years too. She's 5-6 years at the top level and battling the best, and she's always there in the hunt.
Atlanta, the 2018 Trotter of the Year, will commence her second career as a broodmare in November. The 7-year-old mare has enjoyed a spectacular career, but the one thing missing from her resume is a Breeders' Crown triumph. Will her 5th appearance in this event be the charm and complete a legendary career?
She's the most pleasing horse that you will ever have. Atlanta does whatever you ask from her. She will, she tries her heart out. She's very efficient gated, but the biggest thing is she just, whatever you want from her, she will do.
Time will tell. It all comes down to the crown.
One of the best to ever do it, Atlanta. She's been so fun to follow, a 7-year-old mare, and looking to add that Breeders' Crown victory as it will be race 2, the Open Mare Trot, and she's special.
Yeah, she'll kick off the action tomorrow night, and Bulldog Hanover and Allywag Hanover will wrap it up. Yeah, she's just amazing. 37 for 76, 3.4 million. Her 5th attempt at taking down the biggest night of the year for harness racing in the Breeders' Crown, and I think a lot of people will be cheering her on tomorrow night.
I think so.
North of the border.
Would be pretty poetic, that's for sure. Looking forward to seeing Atlanta tomorrow night and continuing on with that tremendous resume that she's had, looking to add an exclamation point, so to speak, and get that illustrious Breeders' Crown victory. Back here today, though, it was all about the 2-year-old Sylvia Hanover picking up yet another win in the 2-year-old filly pace. More on the Breeders' Crown in a moment. Back at Charlestown, we're getting ready for the 7th race. We're going 7 furlongs, which will be 2 turns over there in West Virginia. It's a non-winners of 2 allowance, meeting the field. Proud Union going by. Here's It's Over.
Yeah, it comes in from Laurel off of a couple of second-place finishes for Claudio Gonzalez, one of the leading trainers in the Mid-Atlantic.
Benny the Book off a maiden win.
Yeah, got the job done in the slop at Charlestown, going 6.5, gets an extra 1/16 of a mile this evening.
Here's the 4, Violent Rock.
Did not race well at Parks last time, but 2 efforts at Charlestown resulted in a 2nd and 3rd place finish.
Here's the number 5, Suleiman.
Yeah, Suleiman makes the 3rd start off in November, layoff from last year. A couple of 2nd place finishes, 1 at Mountaineer, 1 locally in her last 2.
Here is the number 6, Motowafek.
Motowafek has some speed figures that just absolutely lay over this field. Got the job done at Monmouth 2 back. Her local debut finished 2nd in the slop last time.
And the number 7, Big Price, That's a Alpha.
Yeah, he should be back to the dirt last time. Has a 10-pound apprentice aboard this evening.
That's the field for the 7th race, 4 to 5 on the 6, Motowafek. As this one, as you mentioned, I mean, you just look back, ran a 75 by her speed figure at Charlestown last time. That was in the slop, but even the win at Monmouth, 2 starts back, sprinting against Baden Special Weight Company. This was a colt by Frosted that obviously seemed to show a little bit, at least in some pieces of his career.
Yeah, kicked off his career with the 2nd string down at Churchill Downs last May. That was his only start as a 3-year-old. His 4-year-old season really didn't result in anything positive until he got himself to the Mid-Atlantic. He was 3rd at Delaware in July, and then he got the maiden win at Monmouth, 2 starts back, and then his best race by far was that race last time out locally. I'm sure the class relief helped. I also wonder, in case if the slop helped a little bit. That was a really fast figure. He had run something similar at Delaware back in July. But the truth of the matter is, if he wins one of his last 3 figs, it's going to be really tough.
Back over at Woodbine Mohawk Park, Sylvia Hanover. A tremendous performance. Driver Bob McClure standing by with Jessica. Apologies for some technical difficulties. We will hopefully get a chance to hear from driver Bob McClure with Jessica momentarily. Back over at Charlestown, we have the 7th race coming up, 4 to 5 on Motowafek. Is there anybody else that you thought was a little bit intriguing in this spot?
I can't believe, Acacia, that It's Over is as close in price, and so it's a whole point. But we'll see.
2 to 1 on It's Over. Let's go back to Jessica once again.
You ever drive one like that?
Standing by with winning driver Bob McClure. Bob takes a 2-year-old filly pace final with Sylvia Hanover, almost carbon copy of their elimination last week. Let's just go back to the
Apologies once again for those technical difficulties, not being able to hear that interview with Bob. Apologies about that. Jessica, hopefully we'll get a chance to hear from them a little bit later on. Horses behind the gate for the 7th at Charlestown. Anthony, you were saying, surprised that It's Over is as close in price to your favorite.
Yeah, I think I'm more surprised that she's
He.
as he rather is. I almost keep saying she, as short as he is. I mean, I figured that Motawa Feck would be 2 to 5, 3 to 5. I thought maybe a horse like the 3 Benny the Book would be taking a little bit more money. I know It's Over's run a little faster, but I felt like Benny the Book had a little bit more upside because he's one who certainly, after the barn change and after the circuit switch, he certainly seemed to have come around here. The blinkers went on.
You mean not having to face Charge It?
Exactly. Exactly right, Acacia. Even Chasing Time, who was in his debut. I mean, he's just run against, compared to this bunch,
yeah,
killers. So if you're looking for a little bit of a price, Benny the Book, I would play a little 6-3, small reverse, just in case something crazy happens. And the favorite decides not to show up and maybe just like the sloppy track a little bit more than a fast going last time out.
Loading in for the 7th at Charlestown. Let's go to track announcer Paul Espinosa Jr. for the call.
Proud Union, It's Over. They loaded Motawa Feck first. Benny the Book. Violent Rock, Suleiman, and the last one in will be That's a Alpha. That's a Alpha goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Benny the Book breaks on top. From the outside, Motawa Feck had a good beginning, and That's a Alpha now drops away. He's been passed by Violent Rock, then Proud Union down at the rail. It's Over is racing second to last, and the trailer is Suleiman as they race for the clubhouse turn, led by Benny the Book. The gray Motawa Feck running along in second. Violent Rock moves up outside of Proud Union. Those two now joined outside by It's Over, who's on a mid-race move, now up within 3.5 lengths of the lead. They're followed by That's a Alpha, and Suleiman is the trailer. They head the half-mile pole opening quarter in 24 and 1/5 seconds. Benny the Book with a half-mile left to run, in front by a head from the odds-on favorite Motawa Feck, who now draws up on even terms and takes the lead as they race to the 3/8 pole. And then comes Proud Union with Violent Rock, and then It's Over, back in 5th now. Suleiman and That's a Alpha continue to trail. They head for the far turn, and Motawa Feck has taken over and has done it easily. Yet to be asked for his best, Motawa Feck opens up by 2 on Benny the Book, who tries to keep up from second. It's a big gap back, at least 5 lengths, to Violent Rock, and It's Over. Down at the rail, Proud Union, Suleiman, and That's a Alpha. They come to the top of the stretch. Motawa Feck turns for home on top, and he's moving away. Motawa Feck to the 16th pole in front by a widening 5, now 6-length lead, and it will be Motawa Feck, a much the best winner at 4 to 5. Scores by 7 lengths on the wire from Benny the Book, and then came Suleiman in a 3-way photo for 4th in 1:27 flat.
Motawa Feck, your favorite, the winner, and an ice cold exacta given out by Anthony Stabile as well with Benny the Book.
Thank you, milady. Yeah, I mean, this was easy. Benny the Book went to the lead, and the favorite Motawa Feck just sat there and gobbled them up off the turn, and that was the end of it all. Must be nice to just sit there and count the money at the 3/16 pole, right? I'm pretty sure that's what Motawa Feck's rider,
Guillermo Rodriguez.
That's William.
Yep.
In English, for those of you who don't know.
Thank you for that.
I had a kid in my Spanish class when I was in 7th grade. I mean,
You'd be Antonio.
I would be Antonio, yeah. I like Antonio. I have no problem with the name Antonio.
Yeah.
Guillermo, but the difference was his last name was Smith. So he literally called himself Guillermo Smith. I was like, there's a guy walking around named Will Smith who's pretty popular. Maybe you want to stick with that. But he went with Guillermo Smith for a couple of years. It was pretty interesting.
I respect that. For a couple years?
Yeah.
Oh.
Through high school.
Okay. Well, meanwhile, Guillermo Rodriguez, the winning jockey on Moto Effect, back at Charlestown. A little bit more coming up after this, as we'll see how the Charity Challenge is continuing on, giving back to local charities for the Breeders' Crown.
Alaraj Farm, one of the leading breeders of trotting talent in North America. The farm that sold Slip Sliding Away this year in Lexington for $510,000 and has produced millionaires like Ferner, Muscles Marinara, Whiskey Tax, and Dewey Color in the Line, as well as great fillies like Barn Doll, Jezzy, and Beautiful Sen. The Alaraj Farm trotting tradition continuing at a track near you.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. I love these pumpkin shots.
And that is the most appropriate pumpkin shot you'll ever see on the Claiborne Orange.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it.
Me too.
Back over at Woodbine Mohawk Park, we're getting ready for the 8th. It is the 2-year-old filly trot. We saw Silly Me Hanover go by. Here's Tactical Planner.
Silly Me Hanover was off a bunch of weeks last time, maybe improvement tonight. Tactical Planner is a gigantic, yeah, well, there you go, 100 to 1, and should be.
Looking to turn things around today, as we'll next meet the number 3, named after Anthony, Instagram model.
That's me. I'm an IG model. I'm a beast. 5 in a, looking for 5 in a row. It started with a win and you're in victory in the Doherty back at the Meadowlands in August.
5 to 1 on Instagram model for that 2-year-old filly. Here's the 4 Special Way, 6 for 8.
Love the way she started her career, basically racing into shape, and now you see 6 in a row for Aki Schwanstedt, who's going to drive and train this daughter of Wanler.
Here's the 5 Mambasita.
I should say Walner. Yeah, blasted off the last 3 starts. Held on 2 of them last week behind Special Way. Just could not hold on. We'll see if Yannick uses the same tactics tonight.
Here's the 6 Walner Payton.
Yeah, another daughter of Walner in here, finished second to Special Way. Comes with that, makes one big move at the speed in the final strides in the last 1/8 of a mile. We'll see if that works tonight in the final here.
Here's another filly in good form, Righteous Resolve, 8 for 9.
Yeah, she's taking some money behind the favorite in here. She's won 6 in a row, 7 in a row, I should say. And a lot of these fillies are in really good form and streaking coming into this.
She's 3 to 1.
And Paul McDonald's won an awful lot of races at Woodbine Mohawk Park and at the old Woodbine where they used to trot.
He'll be driving Righteous Resolve. She's 3-1. Here's a big price on Life Itself.
Yeah, Timmy Tetrick, the other Aki Schwanstedt in here. So for you people that like betting the other Chad Brown here, the other Aki Schwanstedt, and you're getting a big price on this one, 74-1. She should be just a one-time winner from 10 tries.
Another big price. Here's Blonde Bombshell.
This horse was ambitiously placed after qualifying and then winning her first pari-mutuel race, thrown right into the deep end of the pool. She's 44-1. She could very well be 144-1. She's a little curious in here.
Interesting. And outside post, here's Secret Volvo.
My man Brian Sears is going to take his usual seat behind this daughter of Walner. Just 1 for 10. She's got a tough draw. I would imagine he's going to try and leave out of there. I can't imagine she's going many places tonight.
Our Breeders' Crown coverage is presented by Central Ontario Standardbred Association. We're very glad to have the opportunity to bring you the Breeders' Crown coverage this weekend. Even money on the number 4, Special Way, who's been in terrific form, has a lot of strong credentials coming in here. And I always think it's so interesting and special, too, that Aki Schwanstedt has such a strong relationship with the horses that he both trains and drives coming into these big races.
He's really good, too. You know, he's really, you don't often see, no offense, guys and gals out there, a lot of the driver trainers are not as accomplished as he is. You know, he's driven, according to these PPs here, he's driven 252 horses this year. That's a lot for a driver, and he wins at 20%. So it's big numbers. It must be nice to be able to double dip as far as the paycheck goes and getting behind them and getting the job done. She's a really nice filly, and she's consistent, and she can win on the pace or off the pace. She's going to be tough in here again.
The 2-year-old filly Trot coming up next. Let's check in with Jessica for this trackside analysis sponsored by Root & Riddle.
They're 2 for 2 for the hometown teams here in Campbellville, Ontario. The 7 Righteous Resolve is going to try and make it 3 for 3. This one had a bye into the final. Has been racing super well. 8 for 9 on the season. Her only loss this year comes in her debut that came back in July. She does draw towards the outside of the gate. Not too much a concern here. Of course, I mentioned earlier with the slanted gate. She's coming into this race in super form. She's very handy off of the gate. She's a very versatile filly as well. Of course, my pick in here is the 3 Instagram model, a filly I've been able to, keep track of all summer long back in New Jersey racing in the stakes races there. This was the win in you're in. She won the Jim Doherty Memorial back in August on Hambletonian Day. She's had a little bit of time off, so it does concern me just a touch, but Annie Stowey, the trainer in here, has been doing multiple interviews and articles over the last course of the week, and she said the horse trained up very nicely over a mile track at Gateway Farms in New Jersey. She gets a perfect post to work with, post 3. She's handy off of the gate. She can come from off the pace. She tracks horses well. She covers the ground so smoothly, and she gets her driver back, Scotty Zeron. He was involved in an accident later in the summer, right before Hambletonian Day. Andy McCarthy took over the drive, but Scotty Zeron trained this horse and qualified this horse, baby raced this horse. He knows this horse well. Loved the post, like I had mentioned. And, of course, we have to mention the 4 Special Way. This was the elimination winner last week, come from well off of the pace, tracked down horse as well. 6 of 8 on the season. Aki Schwanstedt trains and drives for the Brittany Farms and Marvin Katz. Of course, Marvin Katz is the person who comes up with the idea of the Breeders' Crown Charity Challenge. We'll catch up with him later, but I really like Instagram model in here. The way she's been training, the way she's coming into the race, the post she draws, the confidence that her connections have coming into this race. Back to you guys.
All right, Jessica, thank you. A nice price, too, on Instagram model. 8-1 currently for yet another 2-year-old filly, Anthony, who's been in terrific form.
Yeah, you see a lot of these fillies coming in here. She's won 4 in a row. The favorite Special Ways won 6 in a row. You have the filly leaving from the 7-hole, Righteous Resolve. She's won 7 in a row. So a lot of fillies on big win streaks in here. I envy Jessica for having the chutzpah to pick against Special Way in here. I really tried. I tried to make a couple of others in here. Instagram model was absolutely one of them. I even tried to make Mambasita, who showed speed from the rail last time and just tired late, maybe thinking after missing the prior week, First time Yannick aboard. Thinking maybe she needed that race. But at the end of the day, there's A, a lot of speed signed on here, and B, Special Way is just, I think she just overwhelms them.
Lining up for the 2-year-old filly trot, let's go to Ken Middleton and see if Special Way can do it.
Filly Trot, sponsored by Diamond Creek Farms, is up next.
Public banking on 4 Special Way to keep the ball rolling. 6 wins from 8 starts coming in, 6 in a row for this Oka Svanstead phenom. Trotting Daughter of Walner now down to 1-2. 3-1 in the 7 Righteous Resolve. She's an outstanding rookie in her own right. 9 starts, 8 of them winning efforts. Never worse than second. A titanic clash awaits. It's the Breeders' Crown final. Here they come. They're off and trotting and leaving hard in the center. There goes Mambasita, out fastest of them all. Righteous Resolve punches out with her between horses early is Walner Payton. Their 4th away came Special Way. Retreating into 5th is Instagram Model. 6th out there at her wheel is Blonde Bombshell. Then through at the inside, Tactical Planner. Going into that turn, further back outside, we have Life Itself. In at the rail to claim that 9th spot, Silly Me Hanover. And trailing 10th is Secret Volo. They rush by the quarter in 27-1. And MacDonnell sends Righteous Resolve to the front, and she's on top just over a length. Mambasita's in the pocket spot, Walner Payton 3rd. 4th is Special Way, 5th inside to Instagram Model. 6th in Overland, Park the Route's Blonde Bombshell. Through at the rail, Tactical Planner. Scooting up the inside, Silly Me Hanover. Further back, Life Itself and Secret Volo trails. Not a lot of action, and they're almost at the midway point. Righteous Resolve has got to like her spot. She's up front controlling it, dictating it. 56 seconds to the midway point, and it's Righteous Resolve leading into the final turn. Mambasita's in the pocket spot. Walner Payton 3rd. Svanstead flips the switch on Special Way. First up out of 4th she goes now. Tracking cover Instagram Model into 5th. The others start to separate from the top 5 as the speed quickens going to 3/4. It's Righteous Resolve on top. Still second is Mambasita. Special Way on the outside climbs the first over Mountain 3rd. On her cover outside from in 4th now is Instagram Model. 3/4 in 124-1. Special Way's got to do more. Righteous Resolve is on point leading the way. From the pocket spot, Mambasita. Special Way goes to work now. Here escaping is Walner Payton. Righteous Resolve puts it all on the line in the final 1/8 of the mile. Special Way's getting to her. And Special Way works her way to the front in deep stretch for Svanstead. Late speed comes from Walner Payton on the outside, but it's Special Way again. Special Way in the Breeders' Crown, an outstanding score as she wins in a track and Canadian record time of 1:52.
Special Way with another victory, now 7 for 8 to take the 2-year-old filly trot.
See how Aki Svanstead did not get too jittery, right? He knew what he had in front of him. He sat behind this filly a bunch of times already and has watched her just blossom into an absolute champion. You come that first over, cold night, you know, you worry. Most people would worry, and most you'd have to worry behind most trotters or pacers, but he never really gets too excited in the bike. He stays calm with her. He goes to work on her right here. He wants her to go and put the leader away. He wants her to go and get Righteous Resolve. He knew he would hold off the closers. He was worried about getting past a pesky leader on the front end, and once he did, you can see things just get a little different. He stops really getting after her, and it's just a nice drive, nice win. See, he's now here. He's like, all right, we're home. We're good. Nice work. Nice filly.
Holding off Walner Payton. Actually, Paul Veterosa, who helped us put the show together, pointed out to me that last time out, her Murphy blind was flapping in the wind and probably irritated her throughout the heat where she finished second. Coming in today, picked up another second, but game behind your favorite.
Judge is taking a look at something here. There was some pylon. I believe one of the horses towards the rear of the field. 2-ball, Tactical Planner left the course. Once the wheels on the sulky go inside the pylons, the horse is deemed ineligible, disqualified, what have you, unless they are going around some sort of an accident or traffic and it cannot be helped.
Special Way picking up yet another win, now 7 for 8 in her career. Tremendous performance in the 2-year-old filly trot. at the Breeders' Crown. Coming up tomorrow in New York, Baby Yoda looks to get back to the winner's circle in the Kelso.
The Central Ontario Standardbred Association is working with you to ensure a vibrant horse racing community. Shared stories call for a united voice. That's COSA, representing the interests of horse people racing at Ontario racetracks. So whether you're first, last, or somewhere in between, we've got your back. With insurance, benefits, free lifetime memberships, and more. COSA. Follow our stories on social and check out the process at COSAonline.com.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Nairo Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Nairo Bets.
With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
As the most trusted sales agency for over 25 years, Preferred Equine has been the leading consignor at all the live, in-person, yearling, and mixed sales throughout North America, representing clients from around the globe. And with the recent launch of Preferred Equine Online, they offer the newest and up-to-date technology in online digital sales. Visit preferredequine.com or give them a call at 914-773-7777. There's a reason we're preferred.
You're watching America's Day at the Races. Do you think the drivers are hanging out watching our show?
Probably.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching.
We appreciate you watching.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Keeping
and
us company tonight.
Part of your Friday evening with us.
Yeah. Special Way. Impressive $3 winner. She's just put together such a resume so far, this 2-year-old filly. In the 2-year-old filly, Trot Walner Payton in second. Righteous Resolve, who was right up there for much of it, checking in third. That's official in the 8th, but coming up tomorrow, Belmont at the Big A. We have plenty of graded stakes action to look forward to, and it is our America's Best Racing Race of the Week, the Kelso, as it will go as the 5th race of the day. And an interesting matchup, too, Anthony, between Baby Yoda and Morello. It's a mile now, a prep race really for the Cigar Mile, and Baby Yoda showed last time, albeit against inferior company, that he could handle the distance. But Morello, a horse that last year, or I should say early on this year as a 3-year-old, really was one that was getting a lot of buzz on the Triple Crown Trail.
The Gotham winner. Here he is in the Gotham. He is galloping away from his 9 rivals, excuse me. Yeah, and the wheels kind of came off the bus after this. He broke slowly in both the Wood Memorial and Grade 1 Woody Stevens on the Belmont Stakes undercard. But he's refound his winning form. He's now 4 for 6 by way of a victory at Laurel last time out. He comes in with 1 win in his lone try at the 8 furlong distance. He will get Dylan Davis, who's having a fine Belmont at Aqueduct meet, in the boot. And he will likely be, the morning line has Empty Tomb second choice. I think Morello, with that Gotham win under his belt, Acacia will be the second choice in here behind Baby Yoda.
He started off his career 3 for 3, came back and got to the winner's circle, albeit in a slower race last time out in a prep at Laurel. Baby Yoda, meanwhile, his prep for this race was fast, a 99 Beyer speed figure and a 10-length score in this allowance, going a mile his first time navigating the distance. So if anything, Anthony showed that the mile is well within his scope.
Stretching out he liked,
yes,
as Yoda would say. You didn't get that either. This is a common gallop. That's what we like to say around
I've
here.
never seen Star Wars.
An absolute common gallop. You just made a lot of people, made their ears bleed by saying that. Maggie, our own Maggie Wolfendale was talking about Baby Yoda earlier today and mentioned that she always thought he looked like a horse that wanted a little bit more ground.
I agree.
I do not. I bow to Khaleesi when it comes to that. I always felt the same thing. He looks like a horse. To be quite honest with you, he looks like a miler.
Yeah, he does.
That's what he looks like. And I'm glad he was able to shake the reputation of being a Saratoga horse last time, because that was a big race. It was a good raw final time. The buyer figure came back just under 100. It was a nice effort. And again, he was able to shake that Saratoga horse. It was a big effort, and I thought there was a chance Hall of Famer Bill Mott would just train him up to the Cigar Mile. But this is a nice little stop along the way to our biggest event at the Big A in the fall.
It'll be a fun matchup in the Kelso tomorrow. Back here today, Charlestown coming up next, race 8. 4.5 furlongs on the main track. This is for non-winners of a race since April 28th of 2022. So a dated claiming race for 5,000. There's a look at one of the long shots, Wizard of Odds. The favorite is to the outside, the number 9, Zano Boys. First off, the claim.
What do you think about the name Wizard of Odds? Did you like it?
Yeah.
I know you did. I knew you would, Little A. I knew you would. Yeah, the favorite makes sense. This was a weird race. Kind of felt like the favorite would take a lot of money, and he is, despite the fact that the 8 Better Boogie, now that's a name I can get down with, has...
Out of Money Shaker. That's
Yep,
a good one.
It sure is. Better Boogie just has more consistently fast figures than Zano Boys. And they're closer on odds now, and they'll probably be flip-flop. Better Boogie will probably be favored. But I had a feeling they would fall for Zano Boys off the claim. And I think the key to the race is to try to get Zano Boys out of the number.
Well, there's no better time to join Naira Bets than right now. You can join and get a $25 free bet. New members can also earn up to a $200 deposit bonus using promo code CUP25. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Don't forget to join now. Get started at NairaBets.com for your free $25 bet plus a $200 deposit match. And that'll all be just in time for next weekend's Breeders' Cup World Championships. Hard to believe it's just a week away, isn't it?
Crazy. Yeah, it really is. You know what's hard to believe? Silver Castle's not silver. He's dark bay or brown. He was the horse in here at a price I'd want to get into the gimmick.
Well, it's the pedigree by Windsor Castle out of Smart Silver.
I hate lazy names. They drive me crazy.
I know, I agree.
One of the most fun things about getting into the business and owning horses, to me, is to get to name them.
Yeah.
You pay homage to friends and family, although you don't want to.
That's dangerous.
It's a little bit of a dangerous game, but I don't think most people that aren't involved in the business don't care. It's the coolest thing in the world.
It is. It really is.
So, yes, you want to start trying to stay away from celebrities. You want to try and stay away from doing it to people in the business. But people outside of the business, it's the coolest thing in the world. You take the sire and the dam and you just combine names? How lazy is that? Wow, that's like walking into a bagel place and just getting a bagel with butter.
Oh, that's
boring.
what I do. Sorry.
I mean, it's great, but it's boring. It's
There
easy.
are few things better, though, than a bagel with butter. Toasted.
Yeah, I mean, well, right away you're going with the toasted. Number one, they throw you out of New York City when you start toasting bagels for bagel with cream cheese. You're supposed to toast your bagel.
I don't love cream cheese. The best is when
Or
it's
butter.
warmed in the oven.
Well, take it from a tried and true New Yorker. I've lived in the same house my whole life, and right here in Queens, you don't toast your bagel. You just don't do it. The only way you do it is if you have them bought them frozen, and you need to rejuvenate it a little bit. That's it, though. There's no reason to go into a bagel store and have a perfectly good bagel made that day and toast it.
You don't even want it warmed up?
You take the essence of the bagel
You
away.
don't want it warmed up?
Keisha, you take the essence of the bagel away.
Wow.
You just don't.
I like my bagels
James
hot,
is shaking. Wow,
personally.
cameraman James is shaking his head in agreement with me. Kyle would be if he was around. Listen, I think people are going to probably.
I am horrified by this.
You're horrified by this? I have 200 pounds on you. I think the way to
love
go, if you're
bagels.
looking for bagel advice,
I love
is to go to
bagels.
me.
Richie
That's just mine.
Migliore even brings me bagels because he knows how much I love
I don't
them.
want my bagel scooped out. I don't
No,
want
I
a
don't
bagel
want them
flat.
scooped out.
I
I
don't
agree with
want to
that.
toast my bagel. I
What
want to
about
be
the
left.
square bagels?
Now you're just looking for me to not talk to you for the next half hour.
No, I'm just trying
A
to get you.
square
I'm
bagel.
just trying to get you riled up. That's
Riled
all.
up? How much more riled up do you want to get me? I mean, really? Unbelievable.
Wow, I didn't realize I was going to hit such a nerve with the bagel conversation.
Unbelievable.
Next time I rejuvenate my bagel, I'll let you know.
Here we go. Here we go.
Better Boogie, now the favorite in the 8th at Charlestown as they're heading behind the gate. Better Boogie. Now, this is a clever name, so we like this one.
Yes.
First off the claim for Kevin Joy, owner and trainer, winning about 20% on the year, too. I would imagine the barn change a big piece of that money.
Yes. I want a little 8-3, a little 8-7, no 9. You can go on Naira Bets, and you can bet a 50-cent try, 8 with 3-7 with all. It would run you $7.
Like it.
That's how I'm playing the race. Just to watch the finale. I always like to bet the nightcap, if you will. The get-out race of the day.
The last race of the day at Charlestown. We'll head on over to track announcer Paul Espinosa Jr. for the call.
Jammin' Still, Bucked Tooth. One more factor, Victory Given. Here's Silver Castle. Freedom is Ringing. Wizard of Odds. Better Boogie. Last one in will be Zano Boys. Zano Boys to the outside post goes in. They're in the gate. Few of them a little bit riled up there. Like the riders off of One More Factor. Gerald Almodovar climbing back aboard here momentarily. Zano Boys a little bit edgy in his outside post. Currently your 8-5 favorite. Is Ringing second choice at 9-5. Ready for a start? And they're off. In the nightcap at Charlestown. One More Factor acted up at the start. Better Boogie breaks well. Joined outside by Zano Boys. Freedom is Ringing and Victory Given away in 3rd and 4th. Silver Castle 5th down at the rail, and Wizard of Oz is in 6th. It's another gap of 3. Back to Bucktooth and Jammin' Still, and the slow starting One More Factor is the trailer. So they race for the far turn, and Zano Boys showing his customary early zip through a 22-second flat first quarter, but Better Boogie right along his inside and holds his spot at the rail. They are 4 lengths in front of Freedom is Ringing, who moves up now to claim 3rd. They're followed by Silver Castle and Victory Given. And then comes Wizard of Odds. 1 furlong to go. Better Boogie off the turn in front. Zano Boys backpedaling. Freedom is Ringing is closing in, and Silver Castle at the rail. And then Wizard of Odds, who switches outside. 16th to go. Freedom is Ringing up to take the lead. Freedom is Ringing. Here comes Wizard of Odds, and Wizard of Odds gets up at 50-1. Wizard of Odds gets up in time, springs the upset, and we're looking at a pick 5 carryover into Saturday night's card.
Wizard of Odds at 50-1 in the nightcap. Talk about a good name. This one, he's got it. And some big balloons in the last race at Charlestown as well.
I heard 2 things in Paul's call. I'm friends with Paul. Paul's a great racetrack
guy.
announcer and an even better guy. I heard 2 things. Wizard of Odds 50-1. Your hunch play in the race. And pick 5 carryover tomorrow night. We'll be here tomorrow night.
Yes, we will.
I smell ticket.
I like it.
I smell ticket.
I like it.
I'll be getting involved in the pick 5 carryover tomorrow night at Charlestown. I can tell you that right now. That's death taxes and me not toasting my bagel.
I'll bring you some toasted bagels tomorrow night. Wizard of Odds. And he's even wearing the yellow saddlecloth. He was taking you on the yellow brick road.
Wow.
It was all right there in front of us.
Wow. Well,
it was all right there in front of us.
Why don't you redboard it a little more, Acacia? No,
just trying to make conversation.
The pace kind of collapsed a little bit. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back here. I was right about one thing. Zeno Boys was going to take money, and that was the reason to play the race. He was going to be his first or second choice, and I just did not like him. I just didn't realize it was going to set up for, really an impossible long shot. It's really, really hard to find this horse. He's got one win on the year. It was in a similar race, but when he won that night, he paid $980, and tonight he's going to pay over $100.
Big balloons at Charlestown in the nightcap. Wizard of Odds with Gustavo La Rosa in the saddle, getting the big win in the last race of the day at Charlestown. Back over at Woodbine Mohawk Park into the winner's circle. We did see Special Way in the 2-year-old filly trot with another nice victory. Marvin Katz, one of the owners, a special night for Marvin, as well as with the Breeders' Crown Charity Challenge going on. Let's go back to Jessica.
Standing by with one of the winning open owners, Marvin Katz. Of course, we'll talk a little bit about the Breeders' Crown Charity Challenge in a couple of moments, but Special Way put up a special performance tonight. What a special filly she is. That was a Canadian track record. Talk about her performance tonight.
This was spectacular. This is a great filly. It's not hyperbole. She had a tremendously difficult field to contend with, and she just demonstrated her great skill. I'm so proud of her. I'm thrilled.
And you own her with a couple of friends as well. Talk about that partnership.
It's an exceptional partnership. George Siegel, who's one of the pillars of our industry, my dear friend Al Lipfeld, who's a great partner. We've been together for 30, 40 years. We're like an old married couple. And George and I have owned horses together for a number of years. And to have the producers field, we own actually not only the mother, but the grandmother, who we had owned and trained and developed. So this is gratifying when you can develop one like this from your own program.
Well, congratulations on that win. Let's move ahead to the Breeders' Crown Charity Challenge, something you've been working on for the past couple of years. I believe it started 4 or 5 years ago. You've raised a tremendous amount of money. Talk about it this year, because you pick 4 charities. You pick plenty of sponsors, drivers. Give us a backstory on this.
So as of this year, we've raised $1.3 million, which is an incredible accomplishment. As I've said previously, the champions of this are the harness racing industry, which is determined to give back to the communities that we're part of. The mission of the idea of the Breeders' Crown Charity Challenge was to develop a mechanism and a platform where we could give back to the industry, and we've demonstrated that in a marvelous way at all the racetracks over the last 5 years, and I'm proud of it.
We're very happy to be a part of it each and every year, of course, at Hoosier Park, the Meadowlands, and here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Thank you for all you do, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you, Jessica. One brief thing. I'm sad that Dave Brower is not here to celebrate this. He's greatly missed.
Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
Jessica, thank you. What a lovely interview from Marvin Katz. Truly classy, mentioning the late Dave Brower in that comment as well. We'll bring you more from the Breeders' Crown after this on America's Day at the Races.
Some of the top horses in the sport are born and raised in Pennsylvania.
It's really the world capital of standardbred breeding. Breeders from other states locate in Pennsylvania.
It's not a hard sell. I mean, we have a whole mess of clients that send us horses to take advantage of the program. The racing opportunities have been, continue to be, and into the future are very strong here. This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here in Pennsylvania. It's perfect.
You're watching America's Day at the Races. Our Breeders' Crown coverage is presented by Central Ontario Standardbred Association. As we continue on with the 9th, it's the 2-year-old Colt Pace. And this one's going to be a good one. Let's meet the field for the final race from Woodbine Mohawk Park that will be showing on our program. There's still a few races to go on their card, but the final race as far as the Breeders' Crown coverage is concerned. Here's a look at the field. No surprise, Confederate currently 2-5 as he's 5 for 6 and has been tremendous in his last 5 efforts. So meet the rest of the field though, Anthony, starting with Tip Top Cat.
Yeah, big price from the pylons here with Yanni Gingras, who climbed behind for the first time last week. He had an impossible trip last week. See if we can work out a better one from the pylons tonight. He's a big price at almost 20 to 1.
That looks like it's the 3 Confederate next. Handle Like a Porsche we'll get in a moment.
Yeah, Confederate, another horse just streaking coming into this final. He's won 5 in a row. He won 150-2 in his elimination victory. That was first time Lasix. They can run on Lasix north of the border. He gets the Lasix again tonight with Timmy Tetrick.
Here's Christchurch.
Finished 4th last week behind Confederate. He's hit the board in a bunch of starts this year, half of them to be exact, but he's taken on much, much tougher than he's faced all year long.
Big price on that one right now. Next will be the 5. I like this name, Huntin' the Last Dollar.
Good name. This horse is making up ground at the end of most of his races. He's a gigantic price, and he's a horse that if you're playing tries and superfectas, you might want to try to get him in the number.
Here's the 6 Combustion, 15 to 1.
Some post relief. He was drawn in the 9 hole with a no chance trip last week. He took some money too at 8 to 1 behind Handle Like a Porsche. He's not taking as much money this week, but he's another horse at a price I would try to. Maybe if you're playing tries and supers, 16 to 1, 15 to 1 in that range, I would use him a little bit tonight. Combustion, number 6.
Early speed from Stockade Sealster.
And you would imagine that Jody Jameson, who's won a zillion races in Canada behind pacers and trotters, would try and just blast off. That's what they tried to do last week from the 10 draw. Again, a little bit of post relief tonight. Not surprised this horse is taking some money, though. I'm not a fan of his this evening.
8 to 1 on that one. Big price on this horse, Act Fast.
Yeah, he should be. Just 2 for 8 on the year for Ron Burke. Boy, I'll tell you what, you don't see Ron Burke horses at 65 to 1 often. This one's a big price, and he probably should be.
Big price on that one. Big price on the outside 3 runners. In fact, as here's another long shot, Ammo.
Yeah, you usually see that in the harness racing. This horse ran 3rd behind Confederate last week. So it was actually paced a pretty good mile. Didn't have the cleanest of trips. He comes out of a couple of really fast paces, 1 behind Confederate, 1 behind Combustion. He's another one I'd be using at a big price.
And here's the number 10, Irvin Hanover.
Yeah, I don't know what Joe Bongiorno's going to do from that outside draw. Another one in here for Ron Burke. Ron Burke has 3 of the 10 runners in here. He's one of the leading trainers every year in harness. He's 25 to 1, and the other 2 horses are 66 and 66 to 1.
Pretty amazing.
That shows you how tough the Breeders' Crown races are.
It is. And a short price on that runner, 2 to 5 on Confederate, trained by Brian Brown. Standing by with Jessica. This interview is sponsored by the Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. Jessica?
Thanks, Acacia. Yes, standing by with trainer Brian Brown of the 3 Confederate in the 2-year-old Colton Gelding Pace Breeders' Crown Final. Brian, let's talk a little bit about your colt. Super consistent coming into this race. Last week you raced on Lasix for the first time. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, he did show a spot of blood after his last start, and this happened to me with working on a mystery when he was 2. We couldn't put horses on Lasix in Pennsylvania as a 2-year-old, and it really hurt the horse. So I wasn't taking no chances with this one.
Tell us a little bit about your impressions on his elimination last week.
Well, for not racing in 28 days or whatever it was, he was probably even better than I expected, but he's just been a good horse. Probably halfway through his winter training down, he just started to change, and he just races hard every time.
Tell us a little bit about his week coming into this race.
He's had a good week. We had to work on his throat a little bit of mucus, but he seems fine. Again, he had some mucus last week. He would blow his nose and everything. Horse still raced right through it.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you, Jess.
Back to you guys.
Jessica, thank you. Lining up for the 2-year-old Colt Pace. Here's Ken Middleton standing by with the call.
As the gate reaches the top of the stretch, this is just night number 1 of the Breeders' Crown Championships. 8 more to come tomorrow night. Hope you can join us. It's the freshman class of 2022 on the pace. Here are the Colts and Geldings. Sent on their way. They're off and pacing in a good beginning in the center. As quick out of there is Huntin, the last dollar. Alongside him is Combustion now. Far outside, Irvin Hanover gets airborne here for Bongiorno, who sends him hustling up to grab that early lead. And Irvin Hanover, with explosive speed off the starting gate, has rushed out from post 10 to make the top. Into the pocket spot goes Combustion. Outside third, limbed out is Ammo driving. Back off the speed is Tip Top Cat fourth now. Huntin, the last dollar fifth. Stockade Sealster tucked in sixth. Seventh away to Handle Like a Porsche. Confederate is back there from an eighth position. Christchurch ninth, and trailing the field from in 10th as they move across the back stretches. Act Fast. First quarter is 27-1. Ammo shot to the front. Here's pressure coming at him on the outside as Combustion is up to rattle his chain, and Combustion blasts on by. Combustion takes command. Ammo back to second. Irvin Hanover third. Tip Top Cat stayed in fourth. Outside Stockade Sealster fifth now. Handle Like a Porsche with Golden cover sixth. Seventh through at the rail. Huntin, the last dollar, suddenly in a real tough spot. Confederate gets underway. He's to the outside eighth now. Halftime 56 seconds flat. Christchurch is underway from next to last, and the trailer is Act Fast as they go into the final 3/8 of the mile. Combustion's racetrack now as Stockade Sealster tries to take it to him. He's second outside. Combustion grabs 2 lengths though. Coming up to 3/4, Combustion the one to catch, and he's got 3 suddenly on the field. 3/4 in 1:23 3, and it's Combustion. Stockade Sealster didn't take the backfield very far. Here on the outside, rushing up off cover now comes Handle Like a Porsche, and off his cover, here comes Confederate firing. Confederate on the outside is blasting up now for Tetrick, and Confederate is gobbling up racetrack with every single stride. Ammo got an opening up the inside. Ammo looking for a monstrous upset. Confederate on the outside is going to fall just short. Ammo with a Breeders' Crown blockbuster score as he upsets in 150-4.
A big upset in the 2-year-old Colt pace. It was Ammo at a big price, 52-1, able to hold off your favorite Confederate.
My favorite harness racing connections of all time, Dave Miller and Joe Holloway, post a huge upset. This horse had a sneaky look to him, Acacia. I had a funny feeling he was gonna pace better tonight. He comes out of 2 fast races behind Confederate and Combustion. By the way, they hit the wire 1, 2, 3 with the biggest price on the board. I think this horse was in the 50-1 range, if I'm not mistaken.
52-1.
Wow.
Big price. Snuck up the inside, did Ammo, as you saw. The number 3 Confederate closing on the outside and closing strong, but just coming up a little bit short with the 9 Ammo, trained by Joe Holloway, standing by with Jessica.
Thanks so much, Acacia. Standing by with winning trainer Joe Holloway. Ammo takes a 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Breeders' Crown final. Post 9 tonight. He blasted out of the gate. He's only got a couple starts this season. How was this horse coming into tonight?
Oh, he couldn't have been feeling any better, and he was good. He's just slightly raced. He got a little tired last week because he came first up, and he was better racing back in a week, and glad to get the start into him. But he's such a nice horse.
Let's talk about the trip tonight. Post 9, he blasted on out of there. David was able to find some room up the inside. What were you thinking coming around that last turn?
I was hoping that he had it, and David looked like he was sitting comfortable. Hope so. He did everything else I told him to, so he might as well have got home. So he did a great job. He just did a great job.
You guys like to team up with those 2-year-old Colt Pacers. Perfect sting. Back with Ammo. Congratulations. Go enjoy this one.
Thank you very much.
Back to you guys at the desk.
Jessica, thank you. Joe Holloway, Dave Miller teaming up. Ammo with the win, coming up the inside. Crafty move there.
Great drive. One of the best. It's Miller time. It is Miller time tonight at $107, whatever this son of Sweet Lou's going to come back. Great drive. And, listen, it's still horse racing. He had the inside trip. Confederate had to come around the mall. Cost him a half length and winning the Breeders' Crown. Great drive by David Miller.
Breeders' Crown, 2-year-old Colt pace goes to Ammo at a big price. We'll bring you those prices and more after this. Stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
Established in 1982, Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital is a worldwide leader in equine healthcare, providing a full menu of specialties of services and treatment for all breeds and disciplines of horses, from the family companion to the high-performance athlete. Learn more today about Rood and Riddle Equine Hospital. Visit roodandriddle.com or call 888-773-4838.
The gates fly. From the beautiful Niagara Escarpment in Campbellville, Ontario, Woodbine Mohawk Park. Home to the Pepsi North America Cup, a summer classic. The Mohawk Million on Canada's richest night of racing. And returning this fall, the Breeders' Crown Championships.
A wild finish wins the Breeders' Crown.
Woodbine Mohawk Park. Full fields, exotic wagers, iconic events. You gotta play here.
Nobody wants to fall into a safety net, but when adversity or hardship presents itself, it beats the alternative. Since 1943, the Jockey Club Safety Net Foundation has been serving those individuals and families in need across every facet of the thoroughbred industry. Help us continue to be the safety net and catch those most in need. Visit tjcfoundation.org to learn more.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. In the 2-year-old colt pace, it was a big upset. The number 9, Ammo, 52-1 up the inside, able to hold off your favorite Confederate, 106.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. What a bunch of big numbers there, huh?
Big balloons, so
nice.
to speak. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
What do you
Ammo gunned them down.
Yeah, he did. I see what you did there. See what you did there.
Hi, everyone.
What are you most looking forward to tomorrow?
The Bulldog.
Yeah.
Bulldog Hanover tomorrow night. Definitely looking forward to the Bulldog. We have a great card here at the Big A in the afternoon, so watch the show during the day. Watch us at night.
Yep.
You're covered from morning, noon, and night.
That's right. It truly is America's Day, the full day
Yes.
at the races. Jessica Otten, great job all night tonight. So happy we'll have you with us tomorrow as well. And what were some of your takeaways from today and some things you're looking forward to for tomorrow's card?
You know, it really just shows it all comes down to the Breeders' Crown. These horsemen aim their horses for these big money races at the end of the year, all year long. And it just showed that with Ammo, with Joe Holloway and David Miller. They had ton of confidence in this colt. I remember talking to Joe earlier on in the year after this horse baby race, but he just wasn't quite ready. I mean, he was facing non-winners of 2 horses before facing some stakes horses, but they were confident in their colt tonight, and David drove them with confidence, and it got them to the winner's circle, paying over $100. Of course, 2 hometown horses won as well. It was a great night of racing overall. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night. Of course, we have 8 championship races on tab. Will Atlanta get the Breeders' Crown? That's the one thing missing from her resume, and of course she only has 2 starts left. After this, she has got a start left at the Meadowlands at the end of November. And of course, Bulldog Hanover, Allywag Hanover, they face off, and then we will see the 3-year-old colt pace, the Glamour Boys, Pebble Beach, and By the Missile, 2 sons of Down by the Seaside. They will face off again. Pebble Beach is perfect on Canadian soil. By the Missile was under wraps last week, winning his elimination as well. So ton of great races. I'm so looking forward to being back with you guys all night tomorrow right here in Campbellville, Ontario at Woodbine Mohawk Park.
Jessica, thank you. Can't wait for all of that. And I agree. I'm really excited to see if Atlanta can put that exclamation point, get that thing that's missing from her resume. She's just been so fun to follow and just needs that Breeders' Crown win.
We start the night looking for history. We end the night looking for history.
I like
Can't
it.
wait.
I like it. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll be on for the coverage of the Breeders' Crown tomorrow from 7:30 to 11 on FS2, as Anthony mentioned. The rest of the crew has you covered on America's Day at the races with Belmont at the Big A throughout the afternoon as well. Thanks so much for joining us. A lot of fun with you tonight, Anthony. Here's a live shot. That's where we are at the Big A. A little bit spooky around here. The Breeders' Crown tomorrow, 7:30 to 11. If you enjoyed the great bagel toasting debate tonight, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow when we're on for even longer.
I have some surprises for tomorrow night.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us this evening. We saw some great performances tonight. Looking forward to what's coming up tomorrow. Ammo closed out the day paying $106 in that 2-year-old colt pace. Thanks for joining us for coverage of the Breeders' Crown. We can't wait to see the star Bulldog Hanover and the rest of the cast tomorrow night. Good night, everyone.